Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are continuing to rise higher today, with S&P Futures up 0.17%, Dow Futures up 0.13%, and NASDAQ Futures up 0.16%. S&P Futures posts its gains after energy shares drove the gauge to an all-time high on Thursday. The U.S. Treasury yield rose to 1.3%, and dollar has remained steady near a 4-week low. The payroll report and a look into the health of the labor market will help traders to target at which of the three remaining 2021 policy meetings the Fed might be confident enough to unveil its tapering plans. The U.S. likely added another 725,000 jobs in August, which, although is more moderate versus the prior 2 months, is still stronger than early 2021. Traders are also monitoring the political debate over planned U.S. fiscal outlays. Senator Joe Manchin is demanding a strategic pause in action on President Biden's economic data, potentially imperiling the $3.5 trillion and spending package. Elsewhere in markets, the WTI crude oil topped $70 a barrel on bets that the market can absorb additional supply from OPEC Plus as the U.S. Gulf struggles with Hurricane Ida's impact. Over in Europe, the Stoxx 600 index saw losses being pulled down by travel shares. Over in Asia, Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga's plan to resign sent Japanese shares to a 3-decade high on expectations that a successor may boost stimulus. Chinese tech shares fell as investors continue to weigh Beijing's regulatory crackdown. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
I'm watching the S&Ps, Shane. I'm watching the S&Ps. They're showing a positive move higher this morning. That's good. It's a little lower than it was. It has sold off in the last half hour, but I mean, we're still showing green, so that's a positive. The key catalyst today is obviously the non-farms payroll report that's due out 1 hour before the market opens. This report it's going to have a significant impact on the markets, as it has the potential to be that deciding factor that for the Federal Reserve's decision on when they're going to start their tapering, the slowdown of their bond buying program. What I also noticed that I think is interesting is President Biden is set to speak today at 10 a.m. and he's going to be talking about the August jobs report. So that's kind of interesting. He's going to lay out his economic agenda and plans. I've seen him do this before, but it's interesting that he's going to be doing it, at 10 a.m. this morning. I look over in Asia, they were mixed. The issue with the political issue in Japan, it really did cause that market to move higher. There was no, earnings that were really causing it, but everything seemed to move higher there. So that was kind of nice. I look at Europe this morning. Europe is essentially flat. And oil, the key event for oil yesterday, oil jumped 2% yesterday. And the U.S. Secretary of Energy authorized the Strategic Petroleum Reserves to conduct an exchange with ExxonMobil in Baton Rouge to alleviate any logistical issues of moving crude oil within the affected areas that were harmed by Hurricane Ida, to ensure that the region has access to fuel as quickly as possible, because you got to recover that region. So oil is up a little bit this morning. It's I'm seeing some short gains, but that's positive. I'm looking ahead to next week for earnings. We have Coupa Software, that's ticker COUP, Casey's Stores, that's ticker CASY, Korn Ferry, ticker KFY. LMNR, Lumineer, RH, which is the old Restoration Hardware, Oracle, ORCL, Lululemon, LULU, GameStop, National Beverage, ticker FIZE, Lovesac, ticker LOVE, Lakeland Industries, LAKE, American Outdoor Advertising, which is AOT. They're all releasing tomorrow. So no, they're all releasing next week. So they're ones to watch today to see if there's any, indication as to what their earnings are going to be. So I'm watching these stocks closely.
Let's talk about earnings to watch. Why don't we start out with earnings we've seen come in so far? Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Let's start off with Broadcom, man. That's ticker AVGO, Apple Victor Grace Oscar. They did an 8-cent beat, but they did it on lower revenue. So that wasn't really that's not really a positive for them. You saw the stock last night. It did trade a little lower, but it has since started to come back a bit. So that's kind of a nice, it's kind of a nice indication for this morning when it opens up trading. It's currently up 0.81%. DocuSign, this is another Wall Street favorite. That's ticker DOCU, David Oscar Charlie Under. They beat by 7 cents. They did it on higher revenue. You look at the stock this morning, it's up 2.24%. Guidewire, that's ticker GWRE, Grace William Richard Edward. They beat by 12 cents and they did it on higher revenue. And that stock's up 5.5% this morning. Scientific Applications, that's ticker SAIC, Sam, Apple, India, Charlie. These guys beat by 50 cents and they did it on higher revenue. You look at Cooper Tires, that's ticker COO, Charlie Oscar. They beat by 12 cents and they did it on higher revenue. So that's a positive as well. So all in all, we saw a lot of beats come in last night regarding earnings.
Well, as we know it, Monday is a holiday for Labor Day, but we got some earnings coming in on Tuesday. Bill, what are we expecting for Tuesday?
Coupa Software, that's ticker COUP, Charlie Oscar Under Paul. They're expected to lose 6 cents, but the expected move here is 8.3%. Casey Stores, that's ticker CASY, Charlie Apple Sam Yellow. Their EPS estimate, $2.92, a little high, but it's a good solid number. And the expected move here is 5.8%. Wednesday, we have Korn Ferry, ticker KFY. Their EPS estimate is $1.07. And the expected move there is really just about 1%. Ticker LMNR, Larry, Michael, Nancy, Richard. Their EPS estimate is 17 cents. And the expected move there is 13.5%. Ticker RH, Richard Harold. That's RH.com, formerly known as Restoration Hardware. Their EPS estimate is $6.44, and the expected move there is 10.52%. Oracle, ticker ORCL, Oscar Richard Charlie Larry. Their EPS estimate is 92 cents. The expected move there is 4.54%. Watch the stock trend a little higher into earnings. When earnings comes out, they never seem to get a lift off of them. They always seem to sell off. Lululemon, ticker LULU, they're also releasing on Wednesday. The EPS estimate is $1.18, and the expected move there is 5.9%. GameStop, ticker GME, Grace Michael Edward, we got to add it. I mean, they're expected to lose 66 cents a share. The expected move there is 19.04% when they release Wednesday afternoon. But that's what I have for upcoming earnings, Shane.
Let's move into economic reports. Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
Well, the big report that's coming out, obviously, is the non-farms payroll report. That's going to be released at, 1 hour before the market opens. At 9:45 a.m., we have the PMI composite. That's the final number. At 10 a.m. Eastern, we have the ISM Services Index. And at 1 p.m., we have the Baker Hughes rig count figures. They'll probably be down because of the hurricane. But, so I'm not expecting any, type of volatility to be created this afternoon when they release these figures.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry. The government organization is willing to back Western Digital, ticker WDC, in a bid to merge with Kyosia Holdings on the condition that control of the Japanese company's key technology remains in Japan. So previously, the ministry was hostile to foreign acquisitions, but now the ministry sees the combination as geopolitical leverage that Japan may be able to exert when dealing with rivals amid the ongoing global chip shortage. So officials also consider the positive impact that the tie-up will have on the technology partnership between Japan and the U.S. Elsewhere on the tape, Tesla, ticker TSLA, held a company-wide meeting last night where CEO Elon Musk announced to the company that they're aiming to release a new $25,000 electric vehicle by 2023. Tesla first announced the car on its battery day last year. Musk also hinted that the vehicle may be fully autonomous, having no steering wheel or pedals. The $25,000 price tag is achieved through Tesla's new battery cell and battery manufacturing effort, which could reduce battery costs by over 50%. In the meeting, Musk said that Tesla is betting on full autonomy for the vehicle. The current software is still in beta testing. Other auto news. Audi, ticker AUDVF, has unveiled its latest electric car plans, the Audi Grand Sphere concept study at the IAA 2021. In other news, Cassava Sciences, ticker SAVA, last week, a citizen petition came against the company over concerns that the quality and integrity of laboratory-based studies surrounding the company's drug candidate for treating Alzheimer's disease. Cassava has responded to allegations today, releasing a public statement from the CEO saying that the allegations are false. And in quotes, the allegation claims are science improbable, unexpected, and unique to Cassava Sciences, and therefore it's all an elaborate fraud. By these criteria, all drug innovations are fraudulent. We intend to vigorously defend ourselves and our stakeholders against false and misleading allegations. Cassava's share price is up 0.28% in pre-market. News on Pfizer, ticker PFE. The European Medicines Agency is reviewing cases of multi-system inflammatory syndrome relating to Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine shot. The EMA is also looking into a case of blood clots in the vein with J&J's COVID-19 vaccine. And a regulator noted that the issue with the blood clots was actually distinct from the rare side effect identified earlier this year. Elsewhere on the tape, DD Global, ticker DIDI. Shares of DD are up about 3% in pre-market today on reports that Beijing's municipal government is exploring options to invest in the company. The Shokuai Group, a part of the influential Beijing tourism group, wants to invest in the ride-sharing company and ultimately provide state-owned companies with a controlling stake in Didi. Discussions are still taking place while the government is weighing appropriate penalties for the ride-sharing company. It is unclear how big a stake Beijing is looking to acquire in the company. News on AstraZeneca, ticker AZN. AstraZeneca's Ultomiris has been approved in the European Union for treating children and adolescents with rare and severe blood disorders. Other news on AstraZeneca, the company settled with the European Commission on COVID-19 vaccine supply, ending litigation. AstraZeneca will deliver 60 million doses of the vaccine by the end of the third quarter of 2021, 75 million by the end of the fourth quarter, and another 65 million by the end of the first quarter of 2022. In other news, Tyson Foods, ticker TSN, has reportedly agreed to pay $21 million to settle a lawsuit filed by chicken farmers who alleged that the company and other poultry firms conspired to fix prices paid to farmers. The company didn't admit any wrongdoing, but a spokesperson stated paying the fine was in the best interest of the company. Purdue Farms, which also did not admit any wrongdoing, will pay a fine of $14.8 million. The lawsuit remains pending against several other firms like Sanderson Farms and Pilgrim's Pride. Lastly, for me, the U.S. National Labor Relations Board is reviewing two complaints filed against Apple, ticker AAPL, by its employees. One from a senior engineering program manager who filed a harassment complaint on August 26th against a manager at the iPhone maker, and the second was filed September 1st by a software engineer who accused Apple of repeatedly stopping talks about pay among the staffers. Apple's share price is up 0.36% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific sectors. I'm looking for, news on oil and gas. I'm looking for news on semiconductors, high-tech sectors as well. I also look for events such as earnings and buybacks and other types of events for the type of news that could really be a catalyst to move the stock price. I look at this morning, I start off with my FANG alert. There's this news out on Apple that the Russian state regulators are threatening to fine Apple and Google and accuse them of interfering in elections if they don't remove an app that was developed by supporters of jailed opposition leaders. So we'll see if this is just bark or if this is just bite. Amazon is planning to launch an Amazon-based TV in the United States as soon as October. Other news on Apple, I see a note out there from one of the brokers saying that the underlying demand really looks strong going into this Apple iPhone 13 launch. So that's a nice positive for the stock. I'm looking at my Dow Jones 30. Visa's exposure to the surcharges should be small for now, according to Credit Suisse. If you know this, there's a story out there that Amazon is going to start charging a surcharge to anyone, using a Visa card on their website. PFE, Paul Frank Edward, Australia is going to receive an additional 4 million doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine this month after agreeing to swap a deal with Britain. This is going to help accelerate its vaccination program amid a record surge of infections. Verizon, in a filing, Verizon announced a $1 billion offering of notes at 2.85% due in 2041. So I found that kind of interesting. In terms of, the options, information that's out there, I see a number of stocks with implied volatility movements. Exela Technologies, that's ticker XELA, X-Ray, Elvis, Larry, Apple. Their volatility is increasing versus their 30-day historical vol. Support.com, that's ticker SPRT, Sam Paul, Richard Tom. Again, their volatility is increasing versus a 30-day historical volatility. And Meta Materials, ticker MMAT, Michael, Apple, Tom. Same thing here. Their volatilities are increasing versus the 30-day historical vol. Something to watch for in those stocks. In terms of buyback news, there's a number of interesting ones here. Ashland Global Holdings, this is ticker ASH, Apple Sam Henry. They just entered into an agreement for an accelerated share repurchasing agreement with JP Morgan Chase. Now, this plan falls under their repurchase program of $1 billion that was authorized by Ashland's board in 2018. The outstanding balance is $800 million. They still have to go. So this is kind of interesting. If you look at shares at Ash this morning, they're up, I think, $2 this morning already. Cathay General, that's ticker CATY, Charlie Apple, Tom Yellow. The company's repurchasing up to $125 million worth of shares. And HPE, this is Hewlett Packard Enterprises, Harry Paul Edward. They're targeting a share repurchasing of up to $250 million worth in the fourth quarter. There's a shareholders meeting today with Kansas City Southern. There's a lot of takeover news there. That shareholders meeting starts at 10 a.m. And there's one catalyst event that I noticed. Deutsche Bank, opens up a catalyst buy idea on L'Oreal. That's ticker LRLCY, Larry Richard, Larry Charlie, Yellow. So they're opening they're opening a catalyst buy idea on the stock. But that's what I have for news events going into today, Shane.
Let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking DD Global, ticker DIDI, one that we spoke about earlier. The shares were up over 8% earlier on this news about this possible buy-in by the Chinese government to take a majority share of the DD's company. And, there's some things we have to keep in mind here. The stock went public at $16 per share. So this is a real company. And the stock took a downfall from regulator pressure with the governments getting involved in the company. It could really take a lift, and it could go from, much higher from this $8 to $9 level that we see it at currently. So I think this is definitely positive news for them, and can see how this could give them a rise even just today. So that's my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
Going with Visa, ticker V. The stock was down hard yesterday. But if I can get in a Visa under the 225 mark, I think it's a good play. There's this Morgan Stanley note that came out saying that they're unlikely to see a P&L impact from the Amazon fee increase. That's a real positive. You saw what Credit Suisse, they're positive on as well. So I think shares of Visa could see a nice lift here today, and a positive move higher during the morning. Five Below is another one I'm thinking about. That stock sold off 10% yesterday. Remember, they delivered an EPS beat, although it was done on lower revenue. The issue causing the sell-off in Five Below was obviously their guidance. I suspect that the sell-off in Five Below was overdone, and that we could see a lift today in those shares as well. Anything below that 186 level would be a great entry point. All I can say is today's Friday. You got to be a little wary going into a holiday weekend, because towards the end of the day, the market's going to could start to tail off. So you got to be careful and watch the S&Ps and see how they're trading to see what time you need to get out. But that's my ideas for today, Shane.
Moving into what's hot off the press, the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. Let's talk about it. Bill, what are some headlines we should let traders know about?
Alaska Air, that's ticker ALK, Apple Larry Kilo. They lowered their Q3 load factor view to 79 to 81%. Originally was 82% to 85%, so they just lowered it significantly.
There's some more news on Tesla that came in, ticker TSLA. Tesla has reportedly pushed back the production timeframe for its highly anticipated Cybertruck to late 2022.
News stories out talking about Walmart raising the minimum wage.
Here's one on the contract drug maker Corden Pharma. They're said to be exploring a $3 billion sale.
Ticker SPOK, Sam Paul Oscar Kilo. They're initiating a review of strategic alternatives. This could mean a spinoff or a sell, or just a sell off of some divisions. Ticker SPOK.
Future FinTech, ticker FTFT, has signed to acquire 51% stake in Dianfa Technology.
Here's another one on Alaska Air, ticker ALK. Alaska Air requires all new hires to be vaccinated.
Here's a stock watch on Alibaba, ticker BABA. Alibaba's fallen 1.5% in pre-market, possibly on reports of the city of Beijing saying it wants to take ownership, state control of DD Global.
Seeing a lot of price target increases on Broadcom, ticker AVGO this morning. Apple, Victor, Grace, Oscar.
Stifels Financial Corp, ticker SF, the European unit of the company, filed a lawsuit against an international division of Jefferies Financial Group, ticker JEF, over claims it poached 6 staffers in October 2019. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
U.S. labor August non-farm payrolls plus 235,000 just came out. That makes the unemployment rate 5.2%, and that was a consensus 5.2%. That's all I'm seeing, Shane.
So that'll do it for what's hot at the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out and get a free trial. It'll definitely up your trading game. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Thursday. I had Broadcom, ticker AVGO. It opened at $495.79 and really saw a lot of up and downs, but never able to come back or past that starting point. So Broadcom closed at $491.90 for a 0.78% loss. We're seeing it go higher today, and see some market positivity, but this was one that, at least the way that I called it was on the safety of trying to get in and get out yesterday, but it looked like today was actually a better day for Broadcom. So how did yours end up doing, Bill?
I did Boeing yesterday. That's ticker PA, Boy Apple. Hey, the stock opened up at $218.95. And it hit a high of $223.84. That's a positive move of 2.23%. Now the stock closed at 220.83, which is just shy of the 1%, but it was a good call yesterday. It just moved up just as I expected, because there was just too much selling pressure the day before. So there was a great opportunity for it to move higher. But that was my pick for Friday. If that was my pick for Thursday, it was positive, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. The traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.